Hi, my name's Dan, and today I want to do a video about the Speedplay 4-bolt system, specifically um, how do we take advantage of that 4-bolt system on the North Wave shoes. Now, the North Wave shoes, some of them come with the 4-bolt slots on the bottom, and I always said, yeah, that would be cool to get a set of those to try those out because I've always had to use the 3-bolt to 4-bolt adapter like most people do. And I finally got a pair of shoes with them, but then I found out it's not that easy of a thing to implement. Okay, so these are the North Wave shoes that I've got. These are the Typhoon Evos. I got them on eBay. They were actually old stock new. I think this line isn't like super current, but it's a very nice shoe, and I actually like the look of these. Some of the newer style shoes, I don't like. These look like actual cycling shoes. They've got a cool look to them. I really like the vents. There's a venting system on these, which is cool. I got the carbon sole. And then the real reason I wanted them was the 4-bolt plate capability of the shoe, because I wanted the lower stack height. Check that out. I mean, that is like right up against a shoe, but it took a lot of work to get there. And I'm going to show you kind of what I did. I'm going to go backwards. Now I've got the straps out. So the first thing you want to do is unhook all your straps on your shoe, and then you're going to want to pull the sole out, the sole liner. So I'm going to show you that in a second. Again, you know, if you don't have a 4-bolt cleat system in your shoe, I wouldn't attempt this, by the way, because you'd really have to be good at cutting the slots out in the exact place, but it would be possible. Getting back to the issue, well, I started looking around for videos like, well, how do you do this? You know, how is there a way to I was looking to see if anybody had like a hack. Did they find a way of doing this without that adapter plate? And I'm like, that's, I'm sure I could do it because I'm a real handy guy, but I wanted to see what other people had done. Well, there's nothing out there. So I figured it out through some experimentation, and now I want to share that with you guys, and hopefully somebody will get a little benefit from this. Essentially, basically, what I had to do is I had to solve a number of problems. One is, these shoes are curved on the bottom. When the cleat mounts on, you need the spacer to fill in the gap there, okay? So where do you get those? Well, what's cool about Speedplay is when you get this piece in there, they have the little spacers on there that snap on. And all you have to do is grind those little nubs off. See that right there? You have to grind those off on both spacers. And you end up using this as your... So different when you do it this way. You end up using this as your shim, okay? So you use this one and the other one on your shim, and that mounts directly to the bottom of your cleat. Okay, so I'm going to go over the what I call the hard part of this job, which is you have to go inside here, inside the shoe. I'm trying to do this one-handed with a camera. And you see those lines in there. Now, you don't see them that good, when you start doing this, because the lines are kind of in there, but they're not pre-cut. They're just kind of like a little, I don't know what you want to call it. Like they're like marked. They're to let you know where to cut, but basically they're not cut through. So you have to take a utility knife and go in there. And the method I used was I took the utility knife and I I push down and over, push down and over, and it kind of makes a clicking sound when you cut through. And you just have to take your time and do it. It's kind of hard because, especially the front part, you've got the side of the shoes and everything in your way. It's a pain in the butt. Okay, so I don't know where I left off. So on the inside of the shoe here, right now I have the adapter that I made, and I'm going to actually get this out for you. There we go. Okay, the piece I pulled out from the inside of the shoe is this piece here, and it basically has the 4 bolts in place. And what is that piece? I had to make this piece because, you know, it would have been nice if Northwave would have provided like a 4-bolt insert. Like this is the 3-bolt insert by default that comes with the shoes. That's what the, you know, and it would have been nice if they would have had something like this for the 4-bolt system. But you know, they didn't. So I made one. And how did I make one? Well, I took, these come with the cleats. When you buy the cleats, these plates come in, and this is basically the adapter kit. Now I know you're saying it's not too high, but that's like 3 millimeters. And we're actually going to mount the shoes all the way down to where that purple part goes on the plate. So it does lower it about 3 millimeters. And I know that's not a lot, but hey, with just a little bit of work, and if you're handy and that kind of stuff, you might as well do this project as long as you got the 4-bolt hole cleats. Now, I will tell you, it has been a challenging project to a certain degree. And I will tell you the hardest thing was, the second hardest thing, besides cutting the little notch out on the inside of the shoes, was these 2 notches here on the Northwave shoes. They had the outline for them there. In other words, they were like indented in there, but they were not cut. And when I bought the shoes, I thought, oh yeah, they'll probably just, you know, like pop out with a screwdriver or something. And they don't. So what you have to do, and I'll tell you what I did. Let me get a drill bit, hold on. Okay, what I had to do is take a drill bit, and this is a 3/16 drill bit. And what I had to do was come in here, and I drilled 3 holes. I drilled one on the end, I drilled another on this end, and then I drilled one in the center. So I'm sorry, I that's already done. I can't video that for you. But basically you end up trying to do this one-handed. It's not easy. Wish I had an assistant. But basically you have one hole here, one hole here up front, one here in the center, and one here on the end. Okay? And you drill those out on this slot here, and then you do it on this other slot here. And like I said, the outlines are there, so it's not hard to line up and everything. And the drill bit actually fits in there because it's kind of indented a little bit. And unfortunately, I do not have a picture of the shoes, how they look like with it. The back holes are pre-drilled, so the back holes you didn't have to mess with. So actually what I had to do was cut these out with the Dremel tool. I just used that as an initial way to get the extra thing trim cut off. And then I used a file to go from there. So I'll be right back. Sorry, this is disorganized. Okay, so how does it go together? It's pretty obvious, but I'll just show you anyway. So you flip this piece over. These only fit on one way once you make them, especially if you cut it the way I did. There's only one way it'll go on there, and that's that way. Okay, so that's the first part. Now, this is the front of the cleat. This is the front adapter. You want the flat part to go on the cleat. Okay. So the flat side is the bottom piece, and then the curved part, that's going to go towards the shoe. And then you're going, well, how does that all hold together? And I'll show you in a second. So this is easier to show it this way. So look at all the movement. You got a lot of movement here, left to right, and then forward and backwards. Now again, the bolts, these bolts will not work because the rubber part of the walkable cleat will not snap on there properly using this bolt setup. So I ordered some Countersink M4 bolts. Okay, so I ended up going to the hardware store and picking up some M4 by 16, which I'm probably not going to use those, but I got them just in case. And I got the M4 by 12s. I believe that's the size that I need. The other size was the M4 by 8s, which is the normal size that goes in. Okay, so the M12s are the right size. However, they're kind of hard to get in there, so there's a little trick. I don't know if I'm going to have to do it, but when I first tried the M12 screws, they didn't seem like they were going to reach all the way. So then what I did is I tried the not M12, they're M4 by 12, so they're 12 millimeters long. So I believe the M4 by 12 millimeter long bolts are the ones you need. This is how far they go into the cleat area. So I tried the next size up, which is the getting in here. This is an M12 by 16, and that fit in there real nice. But then it was too long, too extra long, and then I looked at, after I tightened it up, I kind of looked at the bolt and I'm like, well, it's sticking out, 4 millimeters, which is the next size down for the bolt. So what you can do as a trick is you can tighten one side down, which will get the cleat tightened onto the shoe. Tighten in one side with the 16 mil long one, and then on the size next to it, install the 12, and then once the 12's installed, go to the other one and install the 12. Okay, so I tried messing around with it and even pressing up on the plate on the bottom. It is just a pain in the ass to try to get the shorter screw in there. So I'm going to use my trick, and my trick is this. I'm going to install the longer bolt in first, then I'm going to screw this one down, and then I'm going to take the long one out and put the other shorter one in. So just to illustrate everything, I'm going to show you in here, if you can see it. Let's see. Do you see how I don't have the rear, you can't see the rear bolt, but this is the front bolt. See how it sticks out? We don't want that, and I will show you. I'm going to tighten this small screw real quick and show you what it will look like when you put the small screw in there. All right, so I don't know if you can see that. You can see the one screw's sticking out, and the one screw's pretty much flush at the end of the bolt. It's not totally tightened right now, but when it tightens, it comes out even, so it's just the perfect size, but it makes it a little difficult. You can grind it down to the size in between, which I might do. I'm gonna debate this and see how we do here. Okay, well, I found out another thing when looking over these bolts, and that is the head is slightly too large in diameter, but it's off very little. So I'm going to actually grind some custom bolts down, and since I have to do that, I may take the other bolts and grind them to the perfect length. Okay, so I did some experimentation, and the thing I found out that I had to do was take the M4x12s, okay, and I needed to basically just trim the heads so they're smaller. So this is after they've been trimmed, and that's been trimmed too. Let me see one. Here's one before it was trimmed. That's not going to help. You need to see before, after. Okay, so you see the difference there. It's been grinded down on the side. And what that enables it to do is to fit into the cleat tighter, and it goes down just a couple millimeters more. All right, so yeah, that's what I did. Just to repeat, it's going to be the 12 millimeter long M4 bolts in the front. And then what I'm going to say is a M14 bolt in the back. I took an M16, grinded it down 2 millimeters, and then of course I had to make the heads. I had to grind the heads smaller, like I discussed earlier. So basically, the backs needed a little bit of a longer screw, and I'm guessing that's just because. I'm guessing it's just because of the spacer. My battery's running low, so I don't know if we're going to make it here. But here we go. I've already put these on the bike and did a couple of adjustments. This is about where I like them. I like to have it back a little bit. If you look at the alignment, it's kind of like that last notch or two on the side of the shoe. You have the little alignment marks. The center is kind of maybe the one above it, but I like to be back a little bit. I learned that when I got fitted before with my other bike and other shoes. But basically the fitter told me that it'd be better for me to have it back a little bit, which was kind of interesting because I always thought it should be kind of centered or maybe towards the front. And then I realized I get more leverage if they're in the back a little bit. So that's what I've done. I don't like my cleats too close to my cranks because I don't want them to rub on the shoes. And you know, I don't know what that means for leverage or whatever, but I just use this bike to do training rides and charity rides and fun stuff. So since I'm not doing anything super major, it doesn't really matter. As long as I get this fit pretty good, I think I'm good to go. And I can always take it to a fitter later, but for right now, I'm going to do this. And let me put on the finishing cap real quick. All right, so this is how they look from the side. This is with the walkable cleat part attached. I'm trying to do this one-handed. I don't know. Here we go. Like I said, the only spacing there is there, that's just because of the curve of the shoe. It needed that little notch. But basically, we're right up along that. And I mean, here's the side that the pedals go in. And looks a lot better than those other cleats that have been worn out and stretched out, the covers. And there we go. And like I said, I just replaced the covers. I kept the cleats. The cleats are running fine. If anything, they're just broken a little bit easier. I don't know. I don't have that many miles on them. And I have an extra set of cleats now, other than the rubber here. But I got a new set of rubber coming my way. I haven't taken a ride on it yet, but there we go. Look at that. One last time. Nice low stack height. Nice and secure fit too. Got all 4 bolts on there on that shoe. All right, thank you.